Hey guys, welcome back to Food Aspire Home and Garden, and today we are going to make some pie crust. Alright, I'm going to be making a cherry pie, and in the past my cherry pie has been a little fuzzy when I've been doing it, so we are going to do it in a food processor. You can also do it in you know, just a bowl or whatever, but it's easier if you do it in a food processor. So you're going to need your cassava, of course, and we're going to add 1 2 3 4 cups of cassava flour. Hang on, I'm going to get the rest off the counter. Okay, so just so you guys can see it, we are going to also add to this a mixture of things. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of ghee, and you're going to want to get yourself some tallow. I'm using pork today because it works really good for pie crust. If I can open it. I just go to Sprouts and get it. And I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons. Okay. Then I'm going to add some salt to the pie crust. About a teaspoon. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of monk fruit sugar, just because we are making a sweetened pie crust for our sweet cherry pie. Okay, so for our cherry pie, you want to give it a whirl. Alright, so it went for about 2 minutes. Scrape down your sides. Okay, and you can use your dough attachment on this if you want to. But I want to check the consistency of the ghee and the tallow. Okay, I want to make sure that that ghee and that tallow have ran all the way through the cassava. And we need just a little bit more, okay? Now, in everybody's recipes on pie crust, they always like go into sticks of butter and stuff. So since we're using liquid instead of sticks, we kind of have to go by whatever the conversion is in tablespoons or in cups or whatever, because you know we're working with a totally different like material for all this stuff. So I just added 4 more tablespoons. Consistency. It's been 2 minutes. Okay, I do this after 2 minutes, guys, and I'm scraping it down, and it looks like it's the right consistency at this point in time, so that's wonderful. You can, you know, use your paddle controls or whatever if you have those paddles for dough mixtures. I have them somewhere. I don't know where they are right now. I never use them. I just use the blades. So this is the consistency that I want. I want to be able to like kind of crumble it up in my hand and it starts to make something. So that means it has enough of the ghee oil to actually start doing stuff. So what I'm going to do is get really cold water. Okay. I have 2 cups here in my glass container, but I'm not going to put all 2 cups in there. I'm only going to put about maybe about like a half of a cup to get started. We're going to give it a whirl again. Guys, I have a glass bowl right here. Okay, here's my dough over on this side. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my cherries, and they're sweet dark cherries, and these are the best sweet dark cherries that you ever eat in your life, honestly. And this is a 3-pound bag of it. We're going to need quite a bit because these will break down a little bit more too. Now, if you want to, you can add stuff to this, okay? Like sugar, monk fruit sugar, or whatever. I tend to sweeten it up just a tad, but not very much, because these are actually really sweet. And I also tend to leave them frozen right before I'm gonna really use them and put them into the pie crust. So if you get a bowl like this, you can just sprinkle just a little bit of monk fruit sugar all over the top of it. Okay, and then that's probably about it. That's all I'm going to use. And then I'm going to take this and set it aside. The other thing that I'm going to do, and this is glass too, so I don't know how much you can see it, is you want to coat your pie pan with all of a little bit of ghee. I used about 1 tablespoon or so in here, maybe even less than that. That way you have the pie crust not sticking to everything. You want to start your oven at 350. And our pie crust is really quite sticky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of get it kneading together first before we start. Make it a little bit of a harder dough. If you have to, you can stick your pie pan in the refrigerator too. Now this dough is pretty warm because it's been used on a food processor. That's the only problem about using a food processor when you're working with a cold dough, which pie crust technically is a cold dough, okay? Because you're supposed to use the cold water and the cold butter and all of that stuff. If you would like, you can stick your ghee into the refrigerator for a little while before you start using it. But it does get a little warm as you are working and kneading it. So if it becomes too hard or too sticky to handle, you know, you can put it in the refrigerator too for a little while also before you start doing this process. But then you can also do a trick like this where you can just start grabbing your cassava on your table. And it is going to smear on here for just a little while, but until you start kneading it together, it's going to actually form fit and be fine. So get your pie crust ready to go. And see how it's still sticky? I'm just going to knead it. I guess I probably put too much water today. I used about 2 cups. So maybe 1.5 would have been a little bit better. So now I'm going to get my dough into a circle, kind of, and determine where I'm going to be using about half of it. And I don't have a cutter. I need to get one. I have one in the process of being ordered. So you want to get them into about equal sizes here. Okay, put it aside. Both of them. Get your flour dough on both sides. And as you're doing it, kind of try to see if you can turn it. If it's sticking to the counter, I always get a metal, you have to use a metal spatula. And I think this dough is way too warm to be working with, probably. Yeah. So, let's knead it a little bit more. Sorry, guys. Let's try that, see if that works. It's a little better. Okay. Get your pan out. You can draw a circle, you know, around it like this. Get all the excess out. it kind of fell apart, so no big deal. So to make this a little bit thinner, start to work from the edges out. And nobody's going to know because it's going to always be just perfectly fine. Because all it's going to look like is you got fingerprints in the center, but no fingerprints on the outside, see? It's going to look fine. Now, in order to make cassava not so soupy and everything, and more crispy in the dough, you're going to stick this dough into the oven for 20 minutes at 350. Set your timer so it can kind of get crispy here on the top, and then that way that the cherries don't make this into a soppy mess for you, because you want a crispy crust. So that's the best thing to do. If you don't have time for all that stuff, then, I mean, by all means, but I don't want a soppy, yucky crust. So I'm going to stick this in for about 15-20 minutes. Get it somewhat crispy. You do not want it brown, okay? If you get it brown, then, you know, I mean, a little brown's okay, but a bunch of brown, like almost cooked, you don't want to do that, okay? Because you have to get your cherries cooked. So I'm putting it in there. I'm going to set my timer. And I've got it started. So meanwhile, let's work on the rest of it. Now, you could do several things. You could do a lattice design if you wanted to. That's up to you. I already know that this is going to be a lot of dough, but that's okay because I can show you what to do with the rest of the pie crust too. So we're going to take this . We always had extra pie crust, so now, last time when I did do this on a Christmas thing from last year, and you can definitely take a look at that if you want to, I did put it in like a little pie pan thing, and I made like this really tall, like, really tall kind of looking cherry, tall crust, and it came out really cool. So, you know, you can definitely do that, but today I'm just going to use a regular pie pan to see if we can do it. If this doesn't work, then you can make a lattice design too if you can't get this to form fit over the top. The other thing is that you can take this and while things are cooking in the oven, for 20 minutes, you can take your parchment paper put this on it. And this is going to be like way too big. It's not going to be that much that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to put the other one on the side here. I wonder. I don't have another round one, so I can't like make the circle on there. But okay, move. So I'm gonna stick this also in the refrigerator. I'm also going to make myself a little cherry to go on top. And you could do this by several different ways, but you want to form fit it like this. Get yourself a little round something or another. There you go. And you can make your little stem. And then you can make your little leaf too. And there you go, you got your cherries. For your cherry that you're gonna do, if you can see that right there. If you want to, you can do like the little pitty thing that's on here. You can also put this little stem thing part in the back, so then you don't see it as much, and then round off your edges here. There you go. And then that's ready to go. And then you can take the excess and you can put cinnamon and sugar on it, and put it in on a baking tray if you would like. It's always a good idea. I'm going to just stick this in the refrigerator. There. Alright, it's going to be in the refrigerator for a little while. While you're working on that too, you can also think about your egg wash that you're going to put over the top of it to help brown your crust and make it look yummy. And then you can also keep your cherries frozen. They're ready to go too. Alright, so I'm going to come back after everything is all ready to go, and then we'll start putting it together and putting it in the oven, and I'll show you how to do the top of everything. And I might actually do maybe one little square with cinnamon sugar on it. You know, you could try that for the kids if you wanted to. I might actually, since I have extra pie crust, I'm thinking that I might like use the rest of it for a little tart thing, for maybe we'll make an apple tart and see how that turns out. So let's think about that maybe. So I'll see you guys back in a few. It'll be a few seconds for you. Okay guys, now you can see the crust is like, when I push on it, it won't leave an indentation on my finger. So that's how you know that it is ready to go for our cherries. So what I'm gonna do is, these are big cherries guys, okay? So in the store when you buy your cherries, I don't know that they do this, and I think they might even like chop them down a little bit more too. But the thing about it is that these cherries are going to break down when it goes through the cooking process. So it's all going to be incorporated in there. So stick all the juices, if there are any juices, and put it in there, okay? Stick all of the juices in there. Alright. Dry off your hands. Get your cassava flour pan out, okay? You're gonna have to move your other stuff here. You're gonna just take your wrap here and just go right over, whoop, that's not gonna matter. I'm gonna go right over the top. Just like that. Okay. So now that you've got it all spread out, you can take the top and put a little X in the top for any extra that may have to, you know, come out of the hole. And then you can take a fork, go around the sides if you want to. You can add more and fill it in more if you want to on the sides to add a little extra, you know, kind of design over there. It's not the most beautiful thing in the world, but it will do. And then for something cute, put your little cherry on there. You can put a little hole up here if you want to, where the top goes into there. See? And then take all your excess, put it aside. Take a couple eggs. And remember, with working with cassava, it works better if you use actual eggs. Okay, don't water it down. It just doesn't work that way. Take your egg mixture and put the egg mixture over the top, and that's part of the shell. It looks bumpy. It's fine. It's not going to kill us. All right, back in the oven at 350. And this time it's going to take a little longer for this crust, probably about 30, maybe 40 minutes. So I'm going to just set it for I'm going to set it for 45 minutes and see what happens, okay? And then we'll come back, okay? Isn't it a little cute? It's a little bumpy, little cute, little bumpy, little cute. All right. So we'll get this done, and then I might make an apple pie too. We'll see what happens. Alright guys, so this is how my apple pie, or maybe cherry pie turned out. It was fabulous, by the way. It tasted so yummy. And it's all made of natural fruit juice made from the cherries. And I felt that it was so amazing. I brought it to my office and everybody loved it. So I would have to give this some thumbs up, and I hope you guys try this recipe. I will leave this recipe at the description down below, and also with the recipe. And thanks for watching Food Aspire Home and Garden, and we'll see you on the next one. Go ahead and try to inspire somebody to do something great in your life. Have wonderful holidays. See you next time. Bye-bye.